Today there are about 500 different Aboriginal people in Australia, each with their own language and territory, and they are usually made up of large numbers of separate clans. The Aborigines have always been a peaceful people who lived day to day in family groups banded together as hordes and met at times of ceremony where 1 to several hundred members of a single tribe came together. Aborigines are distinguished as being a part of the nature because of their natural way of living. Since 1788, in line with the rising numbers of white people in Australia, a mixture of white and Aboriginal children were inevitable.
The term "stolen generation" describes the many Aboriginal children taken by state and territory authorities. As a half-caste, you were forced to live on reserves or missions away from civilization. Where they had to work for rations, they were given minimal education and needed governmental approval to get married, visit relatives, or use electrical appliances.
The reality was that Aboriginal children were being removed in order to be taught Anglo values and work habits, with the intention of them being employed by colonial settlers and to stop their parents, families, and communities from passing on their culture and language. Half-caste children were often not permitted to even have visit from their own parents or family.
Why were the children removed?
Through the early 90s, the Australian public was led to believe that Aboriginal children were disadvantaged and at risk in their own communities, and that they would receive a better education and more loving family, and a more civilized upbringing in adopted white families or in government institutions.
What happened to the children?
Experiences of children taken from their families varied widely. Some coped with the trauma of losing their families and flourished, despite the prevailing sense of knowledge of their loss and the separation of their birth, families, communities, land, and culture.
Opposite, the majority of the children never recovered from the trauma of losing their family. This resulted in them trying to escape from the live reserves. Most of them were tracked down and punished back in the reserves. Once in a while, some lucky children managed to go against the odds and escape.